Hey, would you like to know how to comp land deals in 60 seconds or less? I'm going to show you how to do that right now on this video. I got a really brand new, awesome tool that I'm excited about to share with you that is free, and I'm going to show you how to get it here. This is amazing. This is a game changer. It used to take me a long time to come up with offers and to look at the comps and look at the actives and the solds and write down the price that it was listed for and the number of acres and calculate the price per acre and then figure out the average and then worry about outliers and like, should you do the median or the average? And then once you get like a number to use, how do you come up with an offer? And I used to have these fancy, I still have them, but I used to use these spreadsheets that just kind of made, I understand spreadsheets, I was good at them, but a lot of my clients and other people I was working with are like, man, their eyes glaze over whenever they see a spreadsheet. So I built a brand new tool that I'm going to share with you right now in this video. And I'm in a hotel room right now, getting ready to go out to our conference that I'm at. So I'm excited to share this with you. You ready to jump in? I've got some notes on why you shouldn't just rely on pricing tools and algorithms. Because I see some people make this mistake of like, oh, I don't want to do all that work, or it's too confusing. I'm just going to take the shortcuts. But I'm going to show you that this is not a good shortcut. When you use some of these pricing tools, they only get you 50 to 75% of the way there. They're helpful, but I'm not going to recommend that you use them. When you learn how to comp deals correctly with tools like mine on sites like Zillow, that's free, okay? You're going to find that it's faster and easier and more accurate doing it that way. So do not let these pricing tools and algorithms and websites be a crutch, because it's only going to get you 50% of the way there, maybe 75% of the way there. But I really encourage you, don't rely on the pricing algorithms. And I'm not going to, when I say it's a company's name, it's not that I'm bashing them. They didn't even intend it when they built it. They didn't even intend it to be, the gospel. Why you shouldn't rely on pricing tools and algorithms. They're helpful, I use them, but they're just a starting point, do you understand? And here's why you need to do your own research. Tools don't always have good data. They just many times get it from public records. It's not always complete, it's not always current, and sometimes they get data from the MLS and the county records, and in rural areas, sometimes it's wrong or missing. Think of Zillow's estimate, right? It's like they give you a rough idea, but they're not always right. So local markets are different. Tools, when you rely on an average price per acre in a county or a zip code, right? They don't know everything about a property. They're not looking at things like road access and utilities and zoning and floodplains and slope of the property and all of that. Road access, that stuff really is important, and algorithms will not price the properties that way. So two lots might be the same size, but one has road access, one doesn't. One might be on the lake, one might not be. One might be on flat ground, one might be on the side of a mountain. So these algorithms do not account for that. And this is important to understand. The market determines the price. What matters is what the market says the property is worth. So even using my free tool that I'm going to show you in a minute, it kind of doesn't matter what we think is what I'm trying to say. What matters is what the market says the property is worth. Tools give you a great guess, but the real test is the market, okay? So what I recommend eventually, after you get a deal under contract, or if it's a really good deal and you're trying to get really good pricing, call realtors. Call local realtors, call recent buyers. They know what's really selling out there. And again, it does not matter what you think the property is worth. It only matters what buyers are willing to pay. You're going to get better with practice, okay? The more you practice and research properties yourself, the better you're going to get. You're going to learn how to spot good deals, and you'll see opportunities that others miss when you learn these skills. Tools also don't help you negotiate. Algorithms, right? When you're talking to sellers, you need to know your numbers. You need to be able to tell them, hey, listen, why would I want to pay you $30,000 when this property is currently for sale for $15,000? Or if a seller asks you, why are you offering less than what their neighbor got, you need to be able to explain the numbers. Maybe their neighbor's lot had utilities or better road access, or it was cleared or whatever. You only know this if you do your own research. So I'm going to talk about now how to use both tools and your own research. So there's tools like the Land Portal and Price and Freedom Soft. They can help you get quick estimates. There's other things out there. Land Insights, I think, is a new one. Then you got to dig deeper on your own. Look at the properties on Zillow and Redfin. What I'm going to show you right now is how to find at least 10 similar size properties that have sold recently or are actively listed. Compare things like size, access, utilities. That gives you the real value. And when you learn this, you can do this really quickly, okay? Bottom line, pricing tools are like the Jeeps, right? It gets you close, but you still need to look around and figure out exactly where you're going. All right, so doing your own research helps you make better offers. You'll negotiate better deals and you'll make more money. So I'm going to show you now. I want to show you my tool. Just wait, because I've worked so hard on these notes. So steps to come up with an offer. Number one, you're going to research the property. Start by gathering the details, location, size, zoning, all that stuff, okay? We use tools. I use Regrid a lot. I use the land portal a lot. You want to find comps, and I'm going to show you how to do that on Zillow. By the way, would you like these notes that I worked so hard to give? I'm going to put these links, the links to this Google Doc in the description of this YouTube video down below. And I have some other links to get to my actual Chrome extension that I'm going to show you, and the land portal and stuff like that. So all of the links for this stuff will be down below. You can even go through these notes yourself. All right, so general rule of thumb is we offer 45% of the property's market value. And this is important. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to decide, what do I need to sell this property for quickly in 1 or 2 months. And so I'm always going to be really aggressive. I want to sell that property quickly. I don't want to wait for 6 months, right? And so when I'm coming up with an offer, I need to figure out, okay, what price do I need to make this? I want this to be the cheapest property, price per acre wise, in the entire area. When I put my property on the market, I want to make everybody else mad at me who is trying to sell their own property, because I'm going to be cheaper than everybody else's, okay? So you always start at it from that perspective, especially now with the market slowing down a little bit like it is. You want to be super conservative. So yeah, I make that point right here, especially for land, okay? All of this stuff, draft your offer. You can use a letter of intent or a purchase and sale agreement. If you want my land kit, which has my contracts and my letter of intent and my option agreements, go to simplelandkit.com. Okay, so I added them to my Google Doc here. If you want my Simple Land Kit, which has my contracts in there, check it out, simplelandkit.com. Also, if you want to see me actually doing this stuff so you can learn how to do land deals from A to Z, join my new 5-day challenge if you go to flipdirtchallenge.com. All of the details are in there. But, okay, let me get back to where I was here. Steps to come up with an offer. Account for costs. And this tool, oh, I can't wait to show you, actually helps you figure these costs in the offer. So it scrapes Zillow, tells you what the property's worth, and then has an offer calculator at the bottom. All right, send the offer. I use FreedomSoft to send all my offers. It's just awesome and easy. And you can send it manually if you prefer, and make sure you follow up with the seller. Most of your deals are going to come from the follow-up, okay? You can send the offers manually. I always send offers to the sellers in the mail. And again, if you want to see the letter and the offer that I send to the sellers, go to simplelandkit.com. I'll put a link for this Google Doc and all these other links that I'm giving you in the description below. Make sure you follow up with the seller. Now, when you follow up, I talk about this more here, but most of your deals happen in the follow-up. You can negotiate if needed. Be prepared to negotiate, right? Sellers might counter your offer, so you need to know what your maximum price is and stick to it. Don't get emotional. This is all about the numbers. You're going to make sellers mad when you make offers, okay? That's fine. That's the way business works, okay? If you're getting too many sellers saying yes to your offers, you're offering too much. If you're making an offer to a seller and you don't feel this sick, like, oh man, I'm going to throw up pit feeling in your stomach, you're offering too much, okay? So I often say, listen, you're in this business to make money. You're in this business to make money today. And so you have to make offers on numbers that work for you. And if you've not made somebody mad by 12 o'clock, you're probably not doing enough marketing and you're not making enough offers. So you're going to make people upset with your offers. That's fine. That's why we get 1 out of 30 offers accepted. Sometimes 1 out of 20, sometimes 1 out of 50, but you're going to get more no's than you do yeses, and you're going to make a lot of people mad. All right, follow-up. Most deals happen in the follow-up. If a seller doesn't respond right away, keep following up with them. This is why I love FreedomSoft, because it does the follow-up for me. Now, you should be following up by direct mail, text, email, phone calls, ringless voicemails, all of the above. And I always send something in the mail every 30 days to a seller. And I send the same offer to the seller over and over and over again over the next 12 years or whatever. It doesn't matter. Persistence pays off in this business. One time, my business partner and I looked back over the previous 12 months and we did 58 deals. And we looked at how much follow-up did we do on average. Of those 58 deals, only 4 came from that first offer, that first conversation with the seller. If we would not have done any follow-up that year, we would have only done 4 deals. But we did 54 deals from follow-up on an average, 7 to 8 touches over 3 to 4 months. Okay, 8 touches, 3 months. You have to do the follow-up. And if you don't do it, you're wasting money. Get your follow-up done for you in spite of you. Super important. Okay, so final thoughts when it comes to making offers. Making offers on vacant land is all about doing your homework, sticking to your numbers. Don't rush the process. Take the time to research the property and run the comps. Remember, it's better to walk away from a bad deal than to overpay it and regret it later. Okay, so these are the tools. I'm going to show you how to do. I'm so excited about this. The Zillow Land Analyzer Chrome extension. If you want it, it's free. I'm going to show it to you, but it's a Chrome extension extension. And you can't go to the Chrome store and search for it. You need to go to www.dirtflippers.com/extension, and I'll put the link in the description down below, and that's where you can get this for free. I'm also going to show you how I use Land Portal. So if you want the Land Portal, it's amazing. I love it. Go to getlandportal.com. I use Regrid as well, so check out regrid.com. If you want my land kit, simplelandkit.com. My Flip Dirt Challenge, if you want to see me actually do this, go to flipdirtchallenge.com, and you can also get a free $1 trial of my custom signature edition of FreedomSoft at freedomsoftnow.com. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these key things to consider later. Let's just look at it. These are 2 leads I'm going to show you how to comp that actually came in. These are old leads, and so I'm going to show you how you can use this thing. So this particular deal here, these are the GPS coordinates, and I open it up into Google Maps. And one of the reasons why I like Google Maps is you can see the satellite, you can switch to street view, but you can also go here and drag the little yellow dude around and get, street view image of the property and kind of see what this area is like, right? So I'm constantly going into Street View, looking at these properties and making sure that this is something that I could actually, wholesale and flip. What's the area like? But you know what? This doesn't tell me much about the slope or the floodplain and all of that, which is one of the reasons why I really like the Land Portal. So I'm going to copy these GPS coordinates. Okay, let me make sure that copied, and I'm going to go into the Land Portal. This is the actual property right here, but let's just go into the home screen, and I'll show you how I get there. I'm going to search by latitude, longitude. I'm going to paste that there, okay, and search. And the cool thing about the Land Portal, it gives me so much really good information. This is the property right here. If I click on this, this thing is going to open up on the left, and you can get all this information about the property. This is actually 1.03 acres. It tells you if it's landlocked or not, which is cool because it can tell by AI whether it has a road access or not. It does give you an estimated price, okay, which is going to again get you in the ballpark. You can see the owner's information. You can see also wetlands and floodplains right here, which is really cool. And you see the slope of the property. Now in Florida, slope isn't necessarily going to be ever a big issue, but you get lots of good information here. And you can also, if I zoom out a little bit, you can turn on these filters for contour lines if you want, FEMA floodplain and wetlands, and you'll see what it looks like here. If I zoom out, the little blue spots are where there is, floodplains and stuff like that. This looks like a good property. However, when I click on it, I need an because I want to now look it up on Zillow, but I don't see an address for the property here. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll zoom out and find another similar, another property nearby that actually has a house on it so I can get an address, okay? So I'm gonna click on this lot next door, and now I have an address up here, and I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna go into Zillow, okay? So I'm gonna paste that address right here. Hold on one second. Okay, there's the address, and it takes me to that actual property. I don't care about this property necessarily, but what I'm trying to do here, this is important. I want my property in the center of the map on Zillow. So I'm going to zoom way in. All right, there's our lot right there that we're looking at. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the center of the map. I'm going to remove boundary. I'm going to go here to more, and I'm going to reset all of my filters. And I'm going to switch to for sale, and I'm going to switch to land only. All right, and I'm going to start just zooming out. Zoom out till I get about 10 comps. You can see there's 5 right there. Let's zoom out one more time. All right, there's 9 comps. Let me zoom out one more time. Here we go. We got 62 comps. So now what you wanted to, we'll look at that in a second. But this property again is 1 acre, right? 1 acre. Sometimes I also like to look on Regrid. The Regrid's another tool that I use. So 1.06 acres. Cool. So I might go in here to Zillow, and I have too many comps, so maybe I need to filter them a little bit. So I'm going to go to more. I'm going to say I want to see backups and pendings, and let's do ½ acre to 2 acres. All right, that's 53 results. I'm also going to sort from high to low, and I'm going to remove some of these real expensive ones. So I might say, all right, only show me properties that are under 100, max 100,000. Now I'm going to sort from low to high. I got 51 comps. I used to do this as a manual process. I used to go through and try to scrape them all and manually write down like finding out what the average price per acre is. But now I have this Chrome extension where I'm just going to scroll down here, load them all up, And I hit my new Chrome extension here. I'm going to clear my previous results when I was playing with it. And I'm going to click Analyze Current Page. And I know this might be really small, but I can't zoom in much more for this. But what this just did is it went and scraped everything on this right-hand side, and it gave me the price per acre for all of these properties. That's pretty cool, huh? And if I go into here, you can see here's all the properties. If I can sort it by price per acre, you can look for, any outliers and take them out. Like maybe I'll take that one out. But you could also say, all right, just give me the lowest 10 or give me the lowest 50%. And if I do lowest 50%, depends on how many I have or where we're at, but I'll do lowest 50%. You can see the median and the averages. And this is important to understand. Averages will factor in outliers. Median removes the outliers. So if you don't know what median is, just Google it or chat GPT it. So I like the median, but sometimes whatever number is lower is what I use. So if I go to lowest 10, price per acre, I can see that the average is 35,000 and the median is 37,000 price dollars per acre, right? So I'm going to go with the lower one. Let's just go with that, 35,494. And guess what? I haven't even scraped sold yet. I'll do that next. But now here is my land offer calculator. So if I'm going to I use the lowest of the two, which is 35,494, and I put the acres right here, 1 acre. I want to make a $10,000 profit. I want to pay a realtor 10%. Normally on land, if it's under 100 grand, I'll pay the realtor 10% commissions because I want to sell this fast, right? And all right, so I'm going to have 500 for photos, 2,500 for closing costs, 1,000 for unknown. And this tells me, well, the property might be worth, maybe I could sell it for 35,494. So if I subtract all those numbers, I should offer 17,944, which is about 51% of the value. Now you got to look at this thinking, well, okay, could I sell it for $35,000? Let's take a look at this, right? We're sorting this from low to high. Could I sell it for 35 grand? Well, man, here's a property currently for sale right now for 28, 29. So why would somebody want to buy my property for 35 when they can buy this one right now for 28? So I'm looking at these price per acres. Let's go back here. You know what? I'm going to use $28,000 per acre. Why? Because I want to sell my property quickly. So I'm going to list it for 28 grand, which means I'm going to offer 11,200. Now, if all I did was look at active listings, I would go with that. I'm going to make an offer for $11,200. Very, very simple. But let's also now look at solds. So I'm going to switch to solds, and there's a lot of them. So I need to go say solds in the last 12 months. Okay, cool. So I'm going to scroll down, and generally speaking, especially in Florida, when you're looking at these and I sort them, by the way, I have to scroll up or down to load them all up or else the scraper won't work. But I've got 60 in here. If that's too many, you can zoom in, but let's just keep it with that. Generally speaking, you're going to want to you want to buy it here at the lower end, okay, on sold. I'm going to be trying to buy it around this price point, but let's scrape everything here, analyze current page. So now I have my actives, right? Scroll down, here are my solds, and I am still looking at 10 lowest. So let's just go to show all so you can see all of them here. There's a lot of them. And so we're getting the average price per acre of 31,000, median 32. Okay, but look what happens when I say, give me the lowest 10. Now the average goes down to 22, all right? So if I use the lowest one there, 1 acre, okay, this tells me maybe the property is worth $22,000, but I think I could sell it for more than $22,000, right? Because remember when we were looking at the actives, and when you switch between actives and solds, you need to make sure you go back here, pendings and backups, and make days on Zillow any, because there was a couple that came back into comps when I changed it to any. Man, I bet you I could sell it for, 25. Let's just look at this again. You're okay, and you see those blues. So, I'm gonna list it for 27,000 an acre. I think I could sell it quickly. 27,000 an acre. I'll list it for 27 grand, which means I need to offer 10,300. Now, one of the things here is you get into bigger properties. If this offer percent of value is more than 50%, if it's like 70 or 80%, general rule of thumb is I never offer more than 50% of what I can aggressively sell it for. Sometimes I'll do 60% if it's over $100,000 or in a really good market, competitive market where I can sell things fast. So that's it. Man, that's it. It's not an emotional decision for me. It's just a numbers game. If I can sell it for 27 grand, I think I can pretty quickly, right? If I want to make $10,000 profit, I need to offer 10,300. Seller takes it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me. But that's how it works. You could also do maybe the lowest 50%, and this now looks at the average of the actives and the median of the average and the median of the solds. Automatically, it defaults to put the lowest one here. Yeah, cool. What do you think of that? Now, the other cool thing is from this, you can export all of those comps into a spreadsheet if you want, and then you can upload it to ChatGPT and you can have it analyze it or do whatever work you want with it. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's look at a second deal. This is a deal, that was in Florida. Let's look at a deal in North Carolina. This was a real lead that came in about a year or two ago. I just went in and looked at some old leads. Now, this is interesting because you can tell it's in some mountains. And if I do 3D, kind of move it around. Is this land even usable? I don't know, but it sure is pretty, isn't it? Let's look back here. Can I get a Google Street View? No. Sometimes what I'll do is zoom out and see where the closest street view that I can look at is. If you can see a road that goes down to the subdivision, maybe I'll put that right there and I can kind of see what the area looks like. It's really pretty. Cool. All right. So this property here, let's take a look at it in the land portal. I want to show you one of the reasons why I like the land portal so much. I'm going to paste that as coordinate here, negative boop, go search all the way up there in North Carolina into the mountains, beautiful area. All right, look at this. Does it have road access? Good question. Don't know the answer to that. Maybe, but it doesn't look like it. If we look at there is some kind of like rainbow trout, right? So there is some kind of road there. So the road kind of goes through here. What's interesting is if I click on this property here on the land portal, this will tell you if it's landlocked or not, and it says no. So there is a road that goes through there. Sometimes on this satellite image, it might be hard to see, so you can switch to another satellite image. That's not too helpful. When you go to streets, yeah, you can see the street right there. So the cool thing about the land portal, it will show you based on AI whether any lot has road access or not. Okay, so there is a road right there. But one of the cool things that I like about the land portal, you can see now it's 3 acres. Now if you scroll down, it gives you the estimated price, which gets you ballpark. But here is where you see, again, wetlands, 0. Obviously not, it's pretty sloped. But, buildability, only 1.75% of the property is buildable. Why? The average slope is 36%. 85% of the property is over 15%. Now, does that mean it's a dead deal? No, I'm still going to make an offer because almost all of this vacant land around here is very hilly, but I'm going to be more conservative in my offer, aren't I? Yeah, I mean, and this is too, when you're negotiating, when you're talking to the seller, you got to talk to him and say, how flat is the property? Do you know how much of the property is actually buildable or not? Looks like this property was actually purchased by somebody for 36 grand. All right, but anyway, and the seller might say, no, I don't know. And you can say, man, it looks like to me 85% of the property is greater than 15% slope. Mr. Seller, I don't think I'm your buyer. You should probably just list it with a realtor. And so that's part of the negotiating process. But let's take a look at this deal now. I need to look this property up on Zillow. And to look it up on Zillow, I need an address. This actually has an address. There it is right there. So let's copy that and let's put it in the Zillow. Okay, there it is right there. And I'm just going to click back to search and I want this map. I'm going to click remove boundary. Let's reset all of my filters and let's just zoom in to make sure. Yep, there's our property right there. Oh, look at this. Right across the street is a similar sized property for $49,000. Now ours is 3 acres, but you can bet I'm going to be way cheaper than this guy, and this guy is going to be really ticked when my property goes on the market because I'm going to be so much cheaper than his, and it's been on Zillow for over a year. Okay, sometimes you know what, looking at active properties are just as important as looking at sold properties. Okay, so now let's look at for sale. Let's do land only, and again our property was 3 acres, right? So we're looking at land only. I want backups and pendings, and I'm going to scroll down. Let's do minimum lot size 1 acre, maximum 10 acres. Now I don't like really tight restrictions. I could have done 2 to 5 acres, but I want to look as kind of almost as wide as I can. Click apply and let's start zooming out. I can zoom out. I could just scrape those right now if I wanted to, but I want to get at least 10 comps, right? There's 2. Let's zoom out one more time. Now I'm going to put more weight on those comps because now I've zoomed out 3 or 4 times and not much is coming up. All right, now this is why I like sorting from low to high. Why is that? Because a property that's on the lake is going to be worth a lot more, right, than a property that is not on the lake. So if I sort this from low to high, you can see I get my cheaper comps there, those ones that are close. And I scroll down, a lot of these are going to be on the water. So what I might do is I'm looking at this thinking, all right, well, I know I can just exclude anything that's over 100 grand. So I might go here and say, don't show me anything more than 100 grand. And it removes all of those properties on the lake. Real simple. All right, so now I've got 3 properties here. If I wanted to, I could zoom out one more time, but I think that's probably a little too far. I've got 15 properties. But this is also one of those times too when I'm talking to the seller, I might say, listen, I know you want 50 for your property, but there's 2 properties right now that are a little smaller that are currently for sale for 10 or 15, something to think about, right? So if I scroll down here, let's load these all up, and I'm going to scrape. I'm going to clear the results, okay? Analyze current page. And you can see here, this is interesting, the average is way higher than the median. The average price per acre is $18,000, the median is $13,000. How do you want those numbers to be pretty similar? So I might do lowest 50%. Now I'm only looking at the lowest 50% price per acre, and my average and my median are a lot closer together now, right? So if I just looking at actives now, if I use 83.82 an acre, which is this number, and my property is 3 acres, I want to make $10,000 profit. I'll pay a realtor 10% commissions, $500 for photos. Maybe, North Carolina is an attorney state, so I might do $3,500 for closing costs, $1,000 for unknown. So the property might be worth 25 grand, which means what? I'm going to offer 7,600 bucks. Remember too, the property is very sloped. So you know what? I feel better on being more conservative, right? Now, I'm going to list that property for 25 grand. What do you think these guys are going to think? The guy who has listed his property for 49, and I come in, list mine for 25 or 30. I'm probably going to sell mine faster, right? I'm always looking at this from, I want to sell it quickly in 1 or 2 months. I want to be conservative and aggressive on my pricing. Okay, I just looked at the time. I need to hurry up because my checkout is in 8 minutes. So let's go. Cool. All right. So now I'm going to look at solds. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay. Let's go to solds. And then I'm going to go to solds in the last 12 months. If you have too many, maybe 6 months. And I still have that $100,000 filter in here. But now I've got 7 comps. Maybe zoom out one more time. That's probably way too far. That's fine. I got 7. Let's scroll down to load them up. I'm going to do the Zillow scraper, analyze current page. Now you see I have the sold listing comps right here. And the average price per acre, oh, look at this big outlier here. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to do show all, lowest 50% again. I've only got 6 comps. So let's do show all for solds. Yeah, so like the median, 12,969, 3 acres, 10,000 profit. That says I should offer 20,000. So this is interesting because this actives, if I do lowest 50%, the actives are 8,300 an acre and the solds are even actually higher. So this is a really good, interesting point here. When you're making comps, and this is critical to understand because you can get into analysis paralysis mode and just take forever and ever to come up with an offer. And so my general rule of thumb is when I'm looking at 2 different numbers, just pick the more conservative one, pick the more aggressive one, the lower one. Okay, so if I have the average price per acre of solds, or the median, whatever's lower, 10,318 for solds, but actives is 8,382, I'm going to go with 8,382. Let's just go for it. All right, you put it right here, 8,382, 3 acres, 10 grand profit. I'll pay a realtor 10% commissions, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to sell the property for about 25,000, which means I'm going to offer 7631. That's it. That's it. Okay, so back here again, you can use this extension. You can export to CSV, and it exports it into an Excel file. And you can also do AI analysis. So this is pretty cool. Do I have time? Okay, I'm going to show you something really cool here. So this property, I'm going to list it. I'm going to sell it for 25 grand. So I'm going to click on AI analysis right here. And this is going to take me to a custom built ChatGPT prompt that I built, okay? And I'm just going to talk into this thing. I have a property that I want to wholesale and I'm going to sell it for $25,000. Can you help me come up with some comps? Or help me come up with an offer. Okay, I just talk into it. Great, I can help you with that. And I hope you can see this. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. So it's going to ask me about 9 questions. Okay, what county is this in? I don't remember which county this property is in. Where's the land portal here? Jackson County, North Carolina. It's 3 acres. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm just going to answer these questions. It's in Jackson County, North Carolina. The size of the property is 3 acres. I want to sell the property for $25,000. My target wholesale fee is $10,000. I'll pay a realtor 10% in closing costs. In realtor commissions, I'll pay a realtor 10% commissions. My closing costs will be $3,500. Let's do $1,000 for other miscellaneous costs. For my percent offer For cash, I'll do, let's say 40%. And for my percent offer for owner financing, let's do 75%. What did I just do? So sometimes when I send offers, I'll give the sellers options. I'll give them a choice. I'll send them a letter of intent. Here's a cash offer. Here's a little higher price owner financing offer. And the idea is you buy it with owner financing and you sell it with owner financing. So here it's asking me, it's giving me a summary of everything I just shared. All right. And so quick sale, 25 grand. Cash offer based on the 40% is 10 grand. But there's also method two, based on how much you get after all your expenses and minimum profit. So it's either 10,000 or 8,000, and they're going to go with the lower of the two, 8,000 bucks. Cool, let's go with that. Now owner financing will be 75% of what I could sell it for. And so if I'm going to do 5% down to the seller, and I'm going to pay them $337 a month for 5 years, that's what it would be. And I can change that if I want. So now it's asking me to confirm. Are you good with the cash offer for 8 grand? Are you good with the owner financing offer for 18 grand? All right, so let's do this. So yeah, we'll keep the cash offer at $8,000. Let's do $15,000 for owner financing. 5% down, 5% interest for 10 years. I'm going to give the seller 2 offers, a cash offer, owner financing offer. And I'm going to make my owner financing offer over 10 years because I want to cash flow. I'm going to buy it over 10 years. I'm going to sell it for maybe 10 or 15 years, owner financing. And so you want to make sure when you're doing this, you're getting at least $200 a month cash flow when you sell it on owner financing, right? And okay, so here's my terms. My monthly payment to the seller will be $151.03. Now it's going to generate a simple explanation for both offers and create a little formal letter of intent. So you can copy and paste this and send it to the seller. And you have to put in their information here. But hey, I'm following up on our conversation about your 3-acre lot near the city in Jackson County, North Carolina. Here are some options I could give you. Cash, we can close in 1 to 3 months. We'll pay closing costs. This is the simplest and fastest way if you're looking to close quickly and walk away with cash. Or we can give you $15,000 with seller financing, $750 down, 5% for 10 years. Principal and interest payments of $151 per month. This option gives you a higher price and steady monthly income over the next 10 years. So let me know what you think. Cool. So you can just copy and paste that, send that to the seller. Pretty cool. And then check this out. It says, would you like help analyzing this deal as a wraparound financing strategy? So if I were to buy it with owner financing, sell it with owner financing, what would my monthly cash flow be on this deal? Check this out. I'm just going to say yes, please. Always be nice to ChatGPT because one of these days it's going to remember when it takes over the world, and it's going to remember that you were nice to it. Just kidding. All right, so if I'm buying it with owner financing, selling it with owner financing, what will my cash flow be per month? Holy smokes, look at that, $250 a month in cash flow. So I'm going to be buying it on owner financing, selling it on owner financing. And normally when I sell it with owner financing, I bump it up about 25%. Just general rule of thumbs here, okay? So my total profit over 10 years, almost $30,000. So you always are going to make more money on a deal when you can sell it with owner financing. Cash upfront needed. So you need about $2,700 out of pocket. That's down payment to the seller and closing cost minus what you're collecting. Well, actually, your net out of pocket is $1,187 because you're going to get some money down payment from the buyer. Does that make sense? So your first year cash on cash return, come on, 252%. It's ridiculous. And so you can just play with this GPT as it goes through all of this. Pretty cool. All right, so let me go back to this Google Doc here. These links, if you want, I'm going to put them in the YouTube description here. To get my Chrome extension, it's absolutely free. You can't go to the Chrome store and search for it. You need to go to dirtflippers.com/extension. If you want to check out the land portal and all the cool stuff it gives you, go to getlandportal.com. I do get an affiliate commission from that, but I would recommend it anyway. I use it. I pay for it. Regrid is a tool that I also use. If you want my contracts and stuff, go to simplelandkit.com. If you want to join my free 5-day Dirt Flipper Challenge, which walks through in a lot more detail about how to do all this stuff, go to flipdirtchallenge.com. And if you want a free 30-day or $1 30-day trial into FreedomSoft, go to freedomsoftnow.com. All right, so real quick, key things to consider. You need to make sure when you're making offers on properties, does it have road access? This is really, really important, okay? And what can you actually do with the land? You need to know about the usability. What is the terrain like? Is there wetlands? Is it sloped really bad? If it is sloped or if it is wetlands, doesn't mean it's a bad deal. I would still make an offer, but I would be even more conservative. Okay, utilities, not that it matters, but are there utilities nearby? You can sell a property for higher when it has utilities. What's the market demand, right? And we usually are fine with this because we only go into markets where there's already high demand, but you need to make sure you're not in an area that it's really hard to sell properties. So really important. Comps, we already looked at comps. That's important. Make sure you need to learn how to look at active comps and sold comps. Don't overthink it. Just make quick decisions. When you're faced with two different numbers, go with the more lower conservative one. Be aware if a property is in floodplains or wetlands or not. Understand the zonings and restrictions. This is typically after I get it under contract. I'm always looking, I'm calling the county, seeing, hey, what can I do with this property? Can I build on it? What's required and all that? If anything, it just helps me sell the deal. And if I find out that, you know what, there's something really wrong or something dramatic that I need to do with this thing, then, you know, I'll just cancel the agreement. I have 90 days. I have 90 days to close in my contracts. And how do you get my contracts, by the way? Go to simplelandkit.com right there. Seller motivation. Why is the seller selling? Sometimes, you know, we forget to ask the seller these simple questions, right? What's more important to them, to sell it fast or to sell it for the highest price possible? So you might be able to negotiate a better deal when you ask more questions and understand their situation better. Okay, so those are all my notes. I got to hurry up and get out of here because I got to check out of this hotel. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you. Bye-bye.